Nnuimtmo'taqan Listugujg. Nnuimtmo'taqan. Hi, my name is Michael Isaac and I'm the Communications Manager for the Listuguj government. Today on Nnuimtmo'taqan Agnutas'g Listugujg, we have Councillor Wendell. Hi Wendell, how are you? This is your first time being elected after 26 years as Chief Councillor. How does this change your approach to your position on leadership?
It certainly doesn't change anything. Being Chief Councillor is it's just an honor. It's basically, you're the same. There's 13 of us around the table. We have one chief, which is the chairman. So it doesn't change anything. My first meeting that we went to, I didn't even change my plaque. We're all councillors. It doesn't matter who chief councillor is. It's just an honor. It's up to the chief. Whoever the chief appoints as acting chief, when he's gone, the chief can appoint. He has those powers to do it. It's you admittedly don't take over the role of a chief when the chief has to go for somewhere, but basically it's up to the chief, and it's up to, there's 13 of us around the table. Simple as that. 13 of us we have say, but it doesn't change nothing, and this is what I told Chief and Council. I don't want my plaque changed. I'm still a councillor, like everybody else here around the table. We're all the same. We all got to work for the best interest of the community, so it really doesn't matter. It's just an honor.
Over the past few years, your professional network has grown quite a bit. Can you give us an update on any upcoming meetings that you're going to have and what they might be about?
There's a lot of upcoming meetings and coming up. We have meetings scheduled with the province concerning the home care facility. There's meetings coming on for capital and infrastructure. And we also have provincial and federal elections coming. Provincial elections, which is soon, I guess sometimes in October. We have representatives coming in from all parties to address the people of Listuguj, but we're not going to tell the people how to vote or what to do. But if they want advice, yes, we can, and allow all candidates from all parties to come over and express their concerns and how they can work with Listuguj together. We've scheduled a lot of meetings within the next few months pertaining to capital and infrastructure, basically the paving of all the unpaved driveway streets here in Listuguj. Also a major issue, another issue coming up with in negotiations is the expansion of the AGS school for cafeteria, Mi'kmaq immersion classes, you name it. There's a lot of major projects in Listuguj coming up right now. As you'll see within the next few weeks, another major project is the paving of our streets after so many years. After, I say, in my 26 years, we're finally going to have all the streets paved. But we are working on, there's a lot of very important federal. We work with provincial, federal government. We have no choice. They're not our friends either, but we got to work with them. They're the governments in place. We got to work with all governments in place. And with council, it's pretty hard to get everybody together all at once at times, but once a month we're able to meet as a group and discuss all the major issues that are going on in Listuguj for the betterment of Listuguj.
Over the past little while and through the last election, there's been whispers in the community, and I have to ask you this question. Is this going to be your last term on council?
It depends on my health. It's just a wait and see game. But yeah, I still have interest in it. It's been, like I say, it's been a good 26 years. It's a lot of good times, a lot of bad times. I've experienced working with 5 chiefs, and for my last 3 chiefs, I've been working under the chief's office in administration. Basically, slowly retiring politician, slowly. But after 26 years, it was very, very interesting. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoy it, and I still do enjoy it. A lot of good times, hard times. It's a lot of stress, People don't know how. Even on the chief is I've experienced 5 chiefs, working with 5 chiefs, and it's a lot of pressure on the chiefs too that is going on.
Are there any projects that you'd like to see complete before your term is done?
Oh, for sure. We've always talked about the home care facility. Now it's going to be a long-term facility. That's on the go, and hopefully we make some investments into it. We've already planned to do it anyway. Investments, and like I said, we didn't even want to mention it. We didn't even want to mention it before the election, because it's always been talked about, nothing's been done. But now the director has that file on the home care field. That's one of the major projects I'd like to see going, because we have so many of our elders are even young that are dying in home care facilities all over surrounding us, and we don't have anything like that. But it's hard for a home care facility. Yes, we can invest the dollars. Simply, we could have done that last year. Invest 3, 4, 5 million into a building. But what do? You can simply have the building. But it is negotiations with the province of Quebec, the federal government, Health Canada. There's a lot of involvement in there. We already have plans pertaining to that project. Now they're revising it, and we have a full crew under the health director working. Now it has to be called a long-term facility. There's certain categories that you have to really mention on the pros and cons, but I think that could be a reality within the next year or two, a long-term facility. But like I say, we didn't want to mention it before the election. They'll say, yeah, you just talk about it, nothing's done. Now, something is being done, and like in negotiation, we can't release all the details till something concrete comes out, at least something, a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
We're going to dive into some community questions now.
Sure.
One community member had the question in regards to fundraisers and mini lottos. They stated that there's a lot of fundraisers and mini lottos going on in the community, and some of the reasoning behind them are very vague. Is there anything that could be possibly done to help regulate these types of fundraisers?
Yes, it is, and it's the same. We come back to gaming. It's all about gaming, and we're in the process of working on a gaming commission, which will alleviate all those problems. Fundraisers, gambling machines, poker rooms, etc. Will have to go through this gaming commission. So I myself have approached a few store owners too. I said we'll be working on a gaming commission, but we will be working with you guys. We will be working with everybody involved in the gaming commission to establish some guidelines, procedures to follow. So it's nothing against any store owner or any other entrepreneur that wants to start a business. It's just regulating it. It's same thing that we're doing now. We're trying to develop a bylaw too. That will also be a bylaw. The Gaming Commission will also be a bylaw governed by a separate arm of the Bank Council. They'll say, oh, Bank Council has control over that. No, we don't want control. We want control, but not full control. You have board of directors. That's what the Gaming Commission is, just like board of directors. People on deciding what to do, and these fundraisers will have to go through this Gaming Commission before. Like I said, if I want to fundraise for somebody, I'd go to the Gaming Commission. There's a commission in place. They'll have policies, procedures to follow, and that would alleviate all the fundraisers that are going on. They'll go through them. They'll pick and choose which ones, and the most important ones. They're all important, but to balance it out, basically. Yeah.
How do you envision the concept of Mi'kmaq governance in Listuguj and Listugujg?
Mi'kmaq governance in Listuguj and we're not ready yet. We are simply not ready yet. we're still in the verge of, even between three governments, Listuguj, Kiskabegia, and we're still at how would you put it now? We're still in negotiations of profit sharing on the windmill project, and we simply can't see eye to eye yet. But we're still in talks, we're still in negotiations, and before that takes place, I doubt. To me, it's, if we can, we have to settle a lot of issues even before we go into our own governance. We have to look at our own backyard and see what we can do. And we won't be able to do it unless we work with all governments. The three governments have to see the future ahead of us. Put it this way, it's simply we can't do nothing without working together, working with each other. That's the only way we'll accomplish. But governance, we're not there yet. It's still a long process. Anything like that, it takes months, years. Look at, like I said, look at us right now. We're at a standstill on the profit sharing for wind power. But we're making headway. We're still in, talks didn't stop. We're still talking. But like anything, negotiations takes time. Some our general public thinks like, we want to do a building. Let's do it overnight. Sometimes it can take a year. Sometimes it can take 2 years. There's so much we can say, and there's some things that we can't say as politicians when we're in negotiations. And when you have your last card to play, like in forestry, we can't play those cards. We can't release any. Sometimes we can't release any information till the time comes. It was the same issue. The Crosspoint elections, I was called down. I was called running for politics in Crosspoint. It was the same thing. There was a card we played, but we didn't play it till the end. That's when we were able to notify the public, and we won the battle. We didn't win the battle yet. We're still in the electoral boundary of Crosspoint, but there's other things we were able to get from the province in order to drop out from the Crosspoint election. Just in negotiations, there's things that you have to hold back, and people think you're holding back from them. No, it's holding it back for nothing to be leaked out. Sometimes it's hard to keep it from your people, but at the end, it's for the positive. It's for, yeah.
And our final community question is a pretty good one in my opinion. The community member was wondering that the harmony in the community seems broken. We seem to be at odds with one another and not working together. What can be done to help mend this harmony and have a unified Listuguj moving forward?
Egos. Everybody wants to be on top. We can't all be. We're already on top. 12 council, 1 chief. If we don't work together, who's it hurting? Not us. It's not hurting the politicians, it's hurting the people. It's hurting, basically it's hurting other people. If we can't work together, this is why you run for elections. You run to work for the betterment of your community. And if we can't do that as a whole, what's just having a chief and council? We might as well go back to the old Indian Act, 1969 Indian Act. Go back to that, let them govern us. We're doing our best, and that's the best we can do. I can't talk for other councillors, but that's the only way we will accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, is working together as a whole. Keep our political differences aside. Elections are over. Let's all work together. I've learned myself to work with other chiefs. Like I said, I went through 5 chiefs in my term for past 26 years, and still doesn't change anything. No matter who's chief, you still got to work with them. You still got to work, like I say, for the betterment of the community. There's no two ways. And I see us right now. Some people see it's not working there, but it's only been 4 council meetings already in. We're making progress, and I think we will make progress. And most of the council realize we have to work together in order to accomplish what we wanted, accomplish our goals. And the goals are working for the community. That's the end of that's the end of it. If we don't work together, it's hurting the community, not us. And the community suffers because of us can't get our differences settled. But they're pretty well balanced. Put it this way, well balanced out now. We leave our arguments are around the table. It doesn't go. And I don't agree with also another thing going on. I don't agree with Facebook. I'll never comment on Facebook. Our fight is on the table. Our fight is with the governments, provincial, federal governments, and other outside governments. That's where our fight is. Why on Facebook? I don't know. I don't believe in it. Facebook. Let's fight on the table. Let's fight for the betterment of the community. That's it. What do you think?
That's yet to be seen, but I want to thank you very much, Wendell, for your time. And thank you, Listuguj, for tuning in to Nnuimtmo'taqan Agnutas'g Listugujg. Please stay tuned for our next couple of segments to where we'll have more counsel and more information to be distributed to you. Please continue to submit your community questions to our LMG Facebook page via message, and we will do our best to answer them through our segments. Walalio.